And welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Chris Dash, who asked the question, who wins in a fight, Sabertooth or Tai Lung? Two cat-based and one cat supervillains of the respected franchises. Tai Lung was the pupil of Master Shifu, a cloud leopard cub who was trained in martial arts and a prodigy by all accounts. But his ambition and desire to become the Dragon Warrior became too great, and and his tendencies became too violent, and he unfortunately had to be locked away. He later escaped, sought revenge on Master Stifu and the Fearsome Five, and ultimately came to blows with Po, whose unique panda style and master of the Wuxi finger hold allowed him to defeat Tai Lung. Tai Lung would show up, I think, a few times in the series and then overall in the fourth movie, most recent movie, who I believe it was still Ian McShane voicing him at that point. You couldn't get Gary Oldman or J.K. Simmons clearly, but yeah, I think he was the only one who had lines of the three main bad guys from the originals. He is a master martial art, and as a snow leopard, he's also exceptionally powerful too. I mean, snow leopards. I love snow leopards. Just random side note. I love snow leopards as a species because you always kind of forget snow leopards are a thing, but they're so floofy. I mean, they're just a unique coloration. They're also, I think, are they larger than normal leopards? The largest leopard species. Hold on. Because it's either a normal African leopard or a snow leopard, which is the largest leopard species. Largest leopard in the world is the Sri Lankan. I cannot say. If I heard it said Sri Lanka, Lankan. I'm. It's been so long since I had to actually say it. Apparently, it's considered the largest species in the world. Hold on. I want to pronounce that right because I've heard it said before and I said it before correctly. Yeah, as you get older and okay, phonetically, how is this pronounced? Pronunciation. God. Okay. Come back here. Pronunciation. Okay. Say Sri Lanka. It is S as in say, followed by RI as in run. What? And then go away, AI overview. That's stupid. Oh, Sri Lanka. That's it. Sri Lanka. I knew it in my head, and I sound like Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan leopard. That's apparently the largest species. But the snow leopards are still sold in terms of their size. And obviously he carries the strength enough to kick Po around a little bit. And Po's a panda. And pandas are not small. But then when he hits him straight in his gut, it kind of absorbs most of the hits. But if he's hitting him in the face, he can throw Po around. He's also a master of pressure point techniques and using his chi in that regard. He can't truly use his chi, but he can target pressure points, chakra points, all that. Kind of like Tai Li, actually, in Avatar. So that's part of his fighting style as well. He's also got the ferocity of an animal, like a leopard. Now, Sabertooth is, or Victor Creed as he's known, is a mutant who's basically just similar to Wolverine in a lot of ways. Victor Creed, one second here. I want to get his stats up here. He's a mutant with an exceptional healing factor. And in fact, his healing factor, I think, is sometimes described as being even better than Wolverine's as a whole. I mean, it's on par with him, to be sure. Mutant physiology and his primary is accelerated healing factor, and he heals him to regenerate, if not from most, if not all damage, destroyed areas from anatomy with far greater human rate. The rate of regeneration is proportional to damage caused. This process is automatic, and Sabertooth does not have control of it. His healing factor, however, does not seem to stop him from feeling pain and wounds, nor regenerating the body itself. Should also know Victor Creed is far larger than a snow leopard. I believe he stands at 7 feet tall or something. 6'6". Okay, and 275 pounds of pure freaking muscle. He's a big dude. He's taller than me by a few inches. I mean, I'm not like I was 6. I think I've shrunk now. I'm about 6 foot even, so he's about half a foot taller than I am. But he's so old that he's an expert in hand-to-hand combat, and most forms of a tactician like work. He is a tactician when he wants to be. He's a master tracker as well, expert marksman, avid manipulator. I guess he can fly planes. Avid. No, he's he's an avid manipulator. He's got skilled manipulation skills. Um, but he's also a lot more primal than Wolverine is too. He has claws that are retractable on his hands and can penetrate most flesh and natural materials, and even um, some metals. Uh, he apparently got. Did he get augmented with adamantium? Uh, Apparently, saying because I've got after his augmentation here. After augmentation, his bones become indestructible. His claws are capable of tearing through any material. Did he get the adamantium process recently? It's a good thing I'm looking this up now because I missed that little fact. He's still weak to the Muramasa blade, carbonadium poisoning, vulnerable senses, memory issues, drowning, and decapitation. So basically, the standard Wolverine weaknesses. He also has super fangs that are strong, can pierce through bone, speed, endurance, strength. All those are enhanced. But yeah, adamant occasionally, even though this has been inconsistent, there are some occasions where his bones have been laced with indestructible synthetic metal known as adamantium. It was implanted by Apocalypse, assumed was forfeited and transplanted back into Wolverine. The second time he had bones bonded to him was when Weapon X had been reinstated and captured to commence the same molecular process as Wolverine. Due to Scarlet Witch's reality warp, is unsure if he kept his adamantium skeletons, but it's confirmed that he still has his adamantium laced skeleton. Oh, wait, what? Okay, no. I had to reread that. Due to Scarlet Witch's reality warp, it's unsure if he kept his adamantium skeleton, but it was confirmed that he still has an adamantium skeleton. Okay, so he is, he is basically Wolverine minus the adamantium claws. And to be fair, if you're going with the ultimate version of Sabertooth, he does have 4 adamantium retractable claws. Because the origins of that Wolverine are not the same as our standard Wolverine, where he's born with bone claws. The claws are put in there. So yeah, he literally has 4 adamantium claws versus Wolverine's 3 in the Ultimate Universe. So yeah, this is interesting because on the surface, I would think that Sabertooth is gonna just completely just steamroll Tai Lung. He's exceptionally skilled in hand-to-hand combat as well. He's far more feral. He's also much larger than them. But size is not everything. And in fact, that actually does give smaller skilled opponents a better edge over a large opponent. I brought this up when I did the Ultraman versus Oma fight earlier last week, where, yes, Ultraman can, in theory, one-shot that character, but the character is so small that Ultraman probably wouldn't be able to get a good hit on him that easily. And he's tactical and skilled and has hacks as well. Tai Lung falls into a similar problem here for Sabertooth. In fact, he's actually comparable to Wolverine in size, if not even smaller. And Sabertooth has to deal with Wolverine all the time, except Tai Lung is probably the more agile naturally because Wolverine is like weighed down with an adamantium skeleton, to be fair. So they would start the fight, and Sabertooth is obviously trying to just slice him up. Tai Lung starts hitting him. It's not doing much, so he then starts going for pressure points. And that's something that neither Wolverine nor Victor Creed have an immediate reaction or defense against. Their healing factor can't do much against a pressure point hit because it's not really damaging the body. It's causing an effect based on where you hit. And that effect could last for a little while. Yeah, they might be able to recover faster from it, but it's not an injury in this traditional sense. So an arm could go limp, and there's not much Sabertooth can actually. We've seen this happen before, too. These guys, I mean, I don't like the Star Trek comic with the X-Men crossover where Spock just one-shots Wolverine. Because, A, it makes Wolverine... That is clearly written by a Star Trek fan. And they really wanted to show Mr. Spock up on that one. or put Mr. Spock up on that one, and because realistically, there's not much Spock should be actually be able to do against Wolverine. If Wolverine is in his right mind, I'll give him this, that Wolverine was acting a bit more feral and angry, but there was legitimately no reason for it. It was literally just the moment to say, "Oh, look how awesome Spock is! He one-shot Wolverine." I'm like, okay, well, good for you. It's not canon, but they did have a crossover, so if you ever put him in a fight, there you go. But I've never agreed with that. But it still shows that Wolverine is susceptible to things like that. And if Wolverine is, Sabertooth should be as well. And you give a smaller, faster frame on a smaller, faster frame. You have a fighter with a smaller, faster frame who is still skilled in pressure point fighting, and particularly in a martial arts style. Then you have someone that Sabertooth isn't going to be able to put down very easily. In fact, there's a good chance this guy just avoids Sabertooth the whole time, just until Sabertooth just goes limp, and then he just starts wailing on him. But therein lies one catch on this. Unless he's going to go for a knockout Spock blow, like to the neck or something, and just knock Sabertooth out, pressure point combat is only going to do so much. Because like I said, even though it's not an actual injury, they should still be able to, it's still, let's call it damage. For the sake of argument here, it's damage. It's still damage being done to their bodies. And so they will recover from that faster than a normal human would. So it's like, say your arm goes limp for an hour. It might take them a couple minutes to recover from it at least. But Sabertooth, as long as Sabertooth isn't in a blood rage either, like just gone insanely feral and mad, which he does do, he could be able to figure out what's going on and kind of back up and just try to get his arm back to working, and basically actually figure out a way to assess the situation. Now, if that happens, Tai Lung is going to be in trouble because, again, Sabertooth is used to fighting a smaller opponent with his rival Wolverine. Even though Tai Lung is more maneuverable than Wolverine thanks to a lack of adamantium skeleton and just a lighter frame, it's still possible and likely that Sabertooth would figure out where he's going to be and then just slice him. Even though with Chinese martial arts there is like recovery techniques in them, especially using your chi, Tai Lung might be able to kind of offset some damage, but if he gets hit like just straight like across the chest, especially because I believe his claws are also adamantium at this point, then he's going to be in a lot of trouble. If Sabertooth gets one shot in on him, he is going to be in a lot of trouble. So the question is, what's more likely? Sabertooth just goes down and just, or Tai Lung gets hit and is in trouble. Like, is just kind of going to be down for the count. The answer, I think, is, unfortunately, it's more likely that Sabertooth gets at least a hit in, and Tai Lung is in trouble, and that Sabertooth is slowly able to recover. Because the problem for Tai Lung isn't, like, taking Sabertooth out. It's, incapacitating Sabertooth. It's taking him out, putting him down. He'd have to basically aim for the neck to hit a pressure point and just put him down that way. Which, to be fair, if all four of Sabertooth's limbs are, limp for a while and he can't move, then he just comes in. Now, that being said, Sabertooth might be able to grab him by the like that, maybe. But, and Sabertooth's smart enough to realize there's only one place to go. He can't kill me. He's going to try to knock me out. So he might figure that out. But if that happens, all four of Sabertooth's limbs are completely null and void for the time being, yes, Tai Lung wins because he's going to knock him out and he's going to be fast about it. But the chances of all four limbs getting knocked out, especially because he's not going to start by like going limp with the limbs. He's not going to start by just taking out the limbs. He's going to just try to fight him straight out first, like he did with Poe, is not likely. So because Sabertooth would figure out what he's doing once he starts taking limbs out, he's going to backtrack a little bit and be a lot more on his guard, and that's going to ruin a lot of Tai Lung's advantage. And when you add the fact he's got a mutant healing factor and an adamantium skeleton, which means there's no real internal damage Tai Lung can even do, and even if he starts to just try to wail on him, he's going to just be hitting adamantium, which he's going to actually be hitting it, hurting his hands. That's the other thing I didn't even bring up. If he's hitting, like, say, his like chest and all that, where his rib cage is, he could break his fingers against the adamantium. So I think I will go with Sabertooth, despite the fact it would be a very unique fight, to say the least. So it's nowhere near a stomp on either one's side. I would definitely still take Sabertooth in the fight, though. But either one could get the win.